Your money! This is a journey into money. Loads.
Today I'm talking about woke capitalism, and sure, it's a topic that's been done to death, but I hope I have some interesting points to make by myself. But what is woke capitalism, and why do people seem to talk about it a lot? Whether you be on the left or the right, there's some criticisms or some praises of it. And when I mean praises, I mean liberals that forget that companies are mostly filled with greedy corporate bastards. Woke capitalism is when a company decides to show off how they are, morally good. A great example of this is in Pride Month, when companies give their logos LGBTQ colors, basically the pride flag. Now, right off the bat, and a thought I used to have a long time ago is, hey, this isn't a bad thing at all. They're showing their support, they're doing something good. One of the positives of woke capitalism is that it shows that the support for LGBTQ people has been rising to the point where companies aren't afraid to do it. Back in the day, companies would be afraid to do that because it would be seen as, supporting something bad, but nowadays it's considered something worth promoting. It can also shed light on very serious matters, get people talking about it, and that's, without a doubt, a good thing. And hell, they might even help support a charity or two, which is always nice. Although going green stuff isn't considered woke capitalism, I consider it so. And, seeing companies become more green and treating the earth better, that's a good thing too. However, every point I just made is about to be somewhat obsolete, because all these companies coming together to show they care is bullshit, because they don't. Companies like McDonald's can pretend to care about LGBTQ people or black lives, but at the end of the day, they would make those same people wage slaves, paying them just enough to barely scrape by and not live a comfortable life, not giving them a living wage despite the fact that these types of workers are the ones making them all the money. And I know this doesn't exclusively happen to minority groups, and I agree that everyone should be given a living wage. However, the point still stands. If they cared about anyone's life in any significant matter, they would pay them more. And I'm definitely not saying companies like McDonald's shouldn't go out of their way to show LGBTQ pride or support Black Lives Matter movements. Like I said earlier, that's a good thing. However, if they're going to do that, they should actually show that they actually believe that by paying their employees better. But what about charity? You gotta admit, companies donating to charity is a great and selfless thing and shows that they do really care. If companies have a surplus of money to give away, maybe they should be giving that money to employees. And even then, charity amongst itself isn't that much of a charitable thing when companies do it. For you see, when companies donate money to charity, they get some nice tax deductions. So instead of companies selflessly putting money away, it's more so a way to just get tax deductions and to actually save the money you're already making. Not to mention, when a company donates to charity, they could go off and say, hey, we donated to charity. Maybe consider buying a burger from us anytime soon at the expense of our employees. And look, I understand why this is done. If we didn't give corporations an incentive to, donate to charity, then chances are they wouldn't do it as much. But how come we give incentives to companies for donating to charity, yet we won't give them incentives for paying their employees living wages and not having them as wage slaves? Meanwhile, individuals, which will explain why that's ironic later on, don't get tax deductions for being charitable for whatever fucking reason. I mean, they can, but they have to give 100% of their gross income from their employer, which is impossible because gross income is the money you earn before you pay taxes. Meanwhile, companies only have to give 25% of their gross income, which is possible. And I find that very ironic because most of the time, individuals, us the people, not corporations, do most of the giving to charity. So basically, big companies that most likely barely pay their employees a living wage get benefits for donating to charity. Meanwhile, you, the individual, they are more likely of not doing that shitty thing, get no benefits for donating to charity. And while we're on the topic of giving away disposable income, maybe consider donating some money to my Ko-Fi. If you've ever liked my videos and want to help out with the channel, then that's one of the best ways ways to do it. Ko-Fi, you can make small or large donations very quick and easily, and you don't have to worry about subscription services if you don't like that kind of thing. So if you're not interested in merch or Patreon benefits and just want to make a quick and easy donation, then the Ko-Fi is the best option for you. The link to my Ko-Fi and other ways to support me are down below. Now I want to make it clear, doing stuff like, recycling, going green, doing stuff that's better for the environment is a good thing. However, I really, really fucking hate it when companies tell us to do that. Companies like to go on about how we're all to blame for the state of the world and why the world is getting a little less bad and why it's hurting so much, and the climate change, it's all our fault and we gotta work together to solve it. And the problem with that is, it's not necessarily everyone's fault. Now, while it is true that individuals do pollute, they aren't causing most of the pollution. Companies are. Companies like to say, in order to save the earth, we all need to work together to fight pollution. Yet again, those same companies are also responsible for most of pollution. Like, for example, global commissions. Just 100 companies are responsible for 71% of global commissions. In fact, the sad thing is, even if us individuals and non-companies got our shit together, that wouldn't stop climate change. Companies have to stop polluting in order to save the earth, and governments need to make sure they stop doing that. But they won't, because they always want to shift the blame to individuals. Look, corporations and companies telling us to do better as a society isn't the problem. The problem is they don't practice what they preach. These companies are doing near meaningless gestures when they could be doing so much more to actually help people. But they don't, because in actuality, they don't give a shit. They give a shit about money. They'll talk about how good they are, so you could go like, I guess they're a good company, I better go give them some money. Companies all around the world have the ability to join together and stop things like, global warming by not polluting as much, or solve world hunger by taking some of the money they make every day to feed people. But they won't, because that would be very cost effective. And it's very fucking annoying when they do the bare minimum or less than that and expect praise and end up getting it as well. People need to stop giving credit to companies for doing the bare fucking minimum and not even that. We need to be more critical on them. Sure, it's great when they do pride stuff or Black Lives Matter stuff, but they need to actually show they care by actually caring. It's funny that companies and corporations will pay off politicians to get away with bad shit, yet they won't pay politicians to help support the black lives they supposedly love so much. All of that money and power that could be used to do great things is actually used, at best, for the bare minimum, and at worst, meaningless gestures that don't mean anything when their actions come into play. So the next time a company does something for clout, respond to them with this. Hey, you want to show you care? You want me to buy your fucking product? Do something more than the bare fucking minimum. Thank you for watching the video, and if you liked it, be sure to like and subscribe. Also, check out these links. If you want to tip me, you could go check out my Ko-Fi. If you want to vote for the next video, go to my Twitter. If you want to get some merch with my face on it, go to my merch store. And if you want to get to watch videos early while supporting the channel, go check out my Patreon. Also, the artist that made the OCs in this video is not me. It is Benny Bunny. So go check him out on Twitter. Also, feel free to come down to my Discord with the link down below. New videos are uploaded every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And don't forget to love yourself.